I have to start by saying welcome to the Tunbridge Wells Borough Council What We Do podcast. I've been told I sound really sarcastic when I say that, but I am excited. The first thing I'm going to ask you is an easy question. What are your names and what are your job titles?
You think that's easy?
Yes, well, I know. I always regret that because I forget the job titles are...
Rubbish, literally. Right, my name is Melanie Schwaipe. My title has no reflection on what I do because it's administration assistant.
That is very vague.
It's very vague.
It tells us very little.
Totally irrelevant to what I actually do.
The sort of title that they give to a spy. A spy, are you?
Well, I like to keep that under wraps.
That's why we've put it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah Cheeseman and my job title is Contracts Monitoring Officer. Also at the moment doesn't bear relation to what I do.
What do you do on the day-to-day?
So the very, very basic, regular items would be things like booking clinical collections, which happen on a weekly basis, and reviewing all of the requests from residents for collection-related issues. Could be replacement bins, it could be ordering new bins for developments, but it's sorting out problems, it's investigating issues. You can be led down all sorts of different avenues. So we cover reviewing council tax, for example, to see if people actually live where they say they do.
Oh, okay.
If they pay council tax, because you're not entitled to bins if you don't pay your council tax.
Yep.
There's the payment of the service, so we have to review the contractor's invoices, and we have a general repeated invoice, but then we have ad hocs because things change on a monthly basis all the time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly regular about our job. Another main area is reviewing the contractor, which is continual.
Melanie does a lot of the clinical stuff. I'm not quite so involved in that anymore. Answering loads of emails from residents because we've got info out, we've got depot out. They all need answering, and sometimes investigating, and sometimes sending off to KCC and getting answers.
How big is your team? How many people are in your team?
There are 3 contract officers,
Yes.
2 enforcement officers, 1 admin assistant, and a team leader.
And a team leader.
There are 2 vacancies.
2 vacancies. So is that within that team, or
Yeah.
what roles have you got vacant? Sorry, I didn't say that very well.
One enforcement officer and 1 completely different role. Call it an admin related role, but it was data role, which is basically what I do.
So you guys cover a lot. That's a really small team, bearing in mind that like waste and recycling management is huge as a job. How are you handling?
But you've also got to add on fly tipping,
Dogs.
abandoned vehicles, dogs.
What do you do with dogs?
We, as a team,
Collect stray dogs.
somebody picks up a dog, or a vet gets handed in a dog that's been running around, we go and pick it up.
And that's 24/7 role.
24/7.
Wow, I didnn't know that you guys did all of that stuff.
And that's not everything either.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned waste data flow.
Oh no, I haven't mentioned.
What's that?
Reporting figures to DEFRA.
The vehicles that collect from curbside have to tip at the household waste recycling centre, so that's Moor Farm, but they go across the weighbridge, they go in and out, so they're weighed in and weighed out, and we get those weights and report them to, in effect, DEFRA. Those materials are then picked up in bulk by KCC, and then they are weighed out, and then they go to the next facility, they're weighed in. So everything is tracked, so we know how much recycling we've collected, how much residual waste has been collected, everything is recorded.
That's a lot.
And
That's
the
a
batteries
lot.
that we collect, and the textiles that we collect, and the wee that we collect. That's all taken back to North Farm, where they've got bins and bulkers for it, and then along comes a contractor every so often and just takes it away when it's full.
Okay.
And then again we get the weights from FCC for those items that are collected separately curbside.
It's a lot more than just bins, isn't it?
And there's flycatcher,
Absolutely.
which is the again reporting to waste data flow, fly tipping in the borough, how many, where, what size. We have different categories, how many fly tipping notices they've given, and the quantity of money that's been generating. And if anything goes to court, we have to report what the court came up with, any fines, any prosecutions.
What constitutes fly tipping? Because I know that that's a broad category.
I'm going to say anything that is tipped, that's not in a bin, that's in the right area.
If it's on the public highway or on the pavement. If it's on the road, if it's blocking a road, then it's KCC who have to clear the road to get the road reopened.
What's the most satisfying part of your role?
Trying to help residents, especially if there's an ongoing problem with a bin, if the bin's regularly missed, and you actually manage to sort it and get the contractor to pick it up without problem. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if you get a customer that's ringing you up regularly about the same issue, which you are going back to the contractor about continually.
Yeah.
But they're still pleased to talk to you because they know you're trying your best to sort something out, and you can explain what you're doing and the process you're going through, and they're actually still cheerful about it. That's really rewarding. I would add things like collaboration with the teams across the council. I think that's something that we are really developed across this year to raise awareness on what we do actually do as opposed to what people think we do. So I think that's really rewarding. Site visits, so where we are going out to some of the waste sites, recycling sites, places like Blaze for the composting for the garden waste. It's getting the knowledge out, spreading the word about what we really are doing, which is basically we're recycling what we collect curbside, and we are stopping it from going into like landfill. We're stopping it from being treated as just waste. It's being sustainable. That is what we're all about. We're recycling.
It's a resource, isn't it?
It's materials. Everything we collect is a material, and it is absolutely a resource. There's very little actual waste.
My brain is just saying like wombles over and over again, but
I think they could. It's such a shame. I'd love there to be more about wombles.
Bring back the wombles.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone off topic. You've mentioned like things like Blaze and the composting. Where does all of that recycling and where does all of the waste go? Because I know it goes to lots of different places.
Our mixed recycling, so the glass, the cans and the plastics, actually goes to a site in Essex, in Rainham, at Rainham. They've got a plastics recycling facility there which is separate to the glass and cans. And Melanie arranged for a group of residents to go and visit, and I went along with them, and it was fascinating. You just see these pieces of material go flying off in different directions.
They use trommels, which is massive. It looks like a big washing machine, which separates some of the material. You've got magnets, you've got air jets, so that what goes into your brown bin is actually separated into plastics, different plastics, your HDPE, PET. You've got cans, which are steel cans, aluminium cans. You look at the end of the process, it's like you are just seeing those one type of product, but if you see the hall where it gets tipped en masse, obviously, and glass, it's another one, all going in to one place. It's separated so cleanly. It's
fascinating to watch.
Yeah, see how it comes out.
Yeah, it sounds really satisfying. I think I'd quite find that quite soothing.
And they go along the belt, and then this puff of air just chucks them out. And obviously the machine's reading
what it is,
and the speed it goes at.
But literally, batteries go to one place, textiles go to another, residual waste goes, that's your green bin, goes to a different site. Most of them actually in Kent as well. That's another good sustainability point, that it's not travelling long distances, because it is separated so much. So I've got a list of about 12 different places that it goes to.
Yeah.
And that's just one destination, because then, for example, the plastics will go onto another facility and get processed again so that they can be reused, which is the whole point. Everything's tracked. So, for example, a bale of plastic, say, is being exported, which does happen, and cans and things, they go to Germany and that type of thing. They are tracked. They have tags on the bales, and they are tracked across the whole journey where they're going. It doesn't just get sent aboard. It is literally weighed, tracked, monitored, measured.
Do you know like how many, on a given day, how many bin crews will be out and about in the borough?
You can easily have, I reckon, probably 14.
Oh, yeah, 15
crews out. Yeah.
So much
without
stuff
all
to
the
clear
street
up.
cleaning vehicles as well. That's without the sweepers and the cages that go around emptying bins and
Or delivering.
And the bin delivery crews. Yeah, we've got a lot of vehicles. There's 40 down the depot, I think.
I did not know that. That's so cool. How did you guys come into working in this team, in this role?
I started working for Tunbridge Wells Borough Council in the parking team. And it involved a lot of Saturdays and evenings, and then my hubby changed his job, which made that very difficult, and the role came up at client services, and I moved across to Wayston, and I love it.
I was at a commercial recycling company before I came to the council, where I worked for 7 years. So it's purely a MRF, materials recycling facility. And I think people that work in, we'll call it waste, I don't like the word waste, but people that work in waste love it and don't leave, because they can see the difference it's actually making.
Yeah.
So I think, once you're in, you're often staying, because it's fascinating. And the other interesting thing about it, I find, is there's an awful lot of like equality. I mean, not everybody would say that. Maybe different parts of the sector are not balanced. There's a lot of females working in the waste
It's
sector.
quite diverse.
Yeah, very diverse, good word.
I feel like this might be a big question. Is there anything that you'd really love for residents to know about their waste, their recycling, anything that you'd like to people to know? If there was like one thing you were like, don't do this or remember this.
Biggest thing is put the right materials in the right bins, because if it's contaminated, it either won't get collected until it's been sorted, or it will go as, even if it's recycler, it could end up as residual waste. And brown bins should all be clean, the content should be clean and loose. It shouldn't go in bags.
Okay.
No plastic bags.
And I think I'd add to that by saying please don't put things in the bin that we can't take, it's like film, black plastic pot tubs, the takeaway microwave meals, black ones we can't take, film, the lids we can't take. It's all that sort of stuff that will contaminate the recyclate and then has to be filtered out.
And the other main part of it is when it's done well by everybody, then you're making a difference to the planet. Don't feel we're wasting your time.
How clean does your rinsed out recycling have to be?
Basically, the majority of the food will come off with if you put it in your washing up, I do it with my washing up, so the majority of it comes off. If it's burnt around the edges, it doesn't really matter because it will all go through a cleaning process, but it's just not masses of food. Like, you don't want a takeaway container
with half a curry in it.
Absolutely. Then that's going to make a mess of everything else that's in it.
It contaminates everything.
So, I mean, you don't have to sort of do a special dish washing up bowl and do it. If I've been washing up by hand, if I've got anything that needs doing, I just bung it through at the end when I finish the washing up and just rinse it off.
It doesn't have to be perfect if you're not going to be eating out of it and stuff. And then it's going to go and sit outside as well. So this has been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. Is there anything you guys want to add, or do you think we've covered a lot?
We've covered a lot.
But there's lots more.
I was going to say, we've probably touched the service.
We haven't even touched it really.
Yeah, the many listeners of the What We Do podcast, if you have questions, definitely send them in, comment on the YouTube video or send them in via our social media, and we can put together another podcast, because as a resident, this has been fascinating. So, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.